Does it do anything when you push start recording?
If you look over to the right to that cabinet that's open, do you see just a big red button?
Yes.
Yep, that means you're recording.
Oh.
Whatever you do, don't push the red button.
Don't push the red button.
2 minutes.
All righty. Mr. Andy.
What up?
Okay. Good. When it comes to your thing, you'll call Girl Scouts up to do their. Okay. Good. I just wanted to make sure I didn't have to do something there. All right. Thank you.
Hi, Andy. Yeah. The slip at the marina looks good. I just drove down there.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Yeah. There are a bunch of people in town.
Horseplay over here.
Oh, yeah.
Can you hear me because you're frozen?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yes. Do you see me moving?
No, now I do, but you were frozen. Starting to panic again. Like you were just stuck. And I could hear your voices. I could hear you talking, but you were just frozen. And now I know you're acting like you're frozen.
I froze again. Yeah, okay.
No.
What happens in the event that we have to get to read all the ordinances and her thing putters out or something?
Then I read.
Okay.
Yeah, or I can
I mean,
ask.
that's why I've got everything plugged in. The iPad's plugged in, so it wouldn't run out of charge. I'm plugged in. We should be good to go.
Councilman Bowen, would you go ahead and read that long one there for me?
And you can actually say no.
Yeah. He's like,
In a pinch, you know, in Palmyra they have the city attorney read them. I discovered.
That sounds like a plan.
oh, that'll go over.
Okay, sorry, technical difficulties. I need to log
You can't
off.
just read the captions.
James
you have to
is
read
taking
the
over.
entire thing.
Dang it, I didn't know that.
It was 14 pages long.
Oh, see, we could have done that. We had him.
Can you say no?
What's that?
Can you say no?
I cannot say no.
Oh.
I'm feeling bad.
You're feeling bad?
I'm going through a tunnel.
All right.
It's 7 o'clock now.
All right, 7 o'clock. Okay. Good evening, everyone. This is the City of Hannibal official council agenda, Tuesday, April 6, 2021, council chamber, 7 p.m. I would ask the electronic clerk to please call the roll.
Mayor Hark,
Here.
Council members Bowen,
Here.
Welch,
Here.
Beach, McCoy,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Dobson, and Councilmember Cogdell.
Here.
Okay, there being a quorum present, I'll call this meeting to order. Councilperson Cogdell, would you do the invocation, please?
Gracious Heavenly Father, Lord, we just thank you for once again allowing us to come together, Lord, just to be in the presence of you and of each other, Lord. We just ask that once again that you would just bless us, Lord, with good wisdom and decision-making on behalf of the citizens of Hannibal, Lord. Just ask that you would continue to bless our community, Lord, as we are starting to kind of get back into the swing of things, Lord. We ask that you still continue to bless those who are sick or who have suffered, Lord, but we just thank you so much for the end of the tunnel that we can see, Lord. Hopefully that people can start getting out and doing things, Lord, and the community can come back alive again. Lord, we just thank you for everything you've given us, Lord, and we just ask these things in Jesus' name and for his sake. Amen.
Amen.
I would now ask that the Girl Scout Troop 9012 please lead us in the pledge.
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. You didn't know you were going to get to help, did you? Okay, council, at this time I would ask for a motion to excuse Mayor Pro Tem Dobson.
So move. Second.
Motion and second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried. Did you get the motions and the seconds?
I did not hear who made the motion. I got the second, but I couldn't tell from the motion.
McCoy.
McCoy.
Okay, thank you.
I'll work on that for you.
Thank you.
Council, at this time, I would request a motion to approve the agenda as it's presented this Tuesday evening.
So moved. Second.
Motion by Veach, second by Welch. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion's carried. Now I need a motion to approve the minutes, closed session minutes of January 5th, 2021, and the regularly scheduled council meeting of March 16th, 21.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Veach, second by Bowen. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion's carried. Now I need a motion to approve payroll and claims for the second half of March 2021.
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Motion by McCoy, second by Veach.
Yeah, sure, whatever.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
It was me.
It's gonna be fun.
Second by Welch. He's going to be upset. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion's carried. First item on our agenda this evening, Melissa Cummins with the Mark Twain Home Foundation.
I am here once again, my annual request to hold Music Under the Stars on Hill Street, open liquor. It will be Thursday evenings, first Thursday in June through the last Thursday in August. That puts us at 13 concerts.
13 total. Okay. Madam Clerk, do you have any information to add to this?
No objections from the departments, just must clean up all the trash, and if appropriate, provide additional receptacles. And we do need the certificate of insurance on file yet, but other than that, everything's in order.
Okay.
Okay, I'll check on that.
Motion to approve pending insurance.
Second.
There's a motion to approve pending insurance by Veach, second by Bowen. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried. Melissa, thank you. Just get that
Thanks.
into Angel's office when you have the chance.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
I'll check. They were supposed to send it in.
Okay, no problem. Next item on the agenda is Mr. Tom Rupp and Brad Kurz from the Mark Twain Area Habitat for Humanity. Good evening,
Mayor.
gentlemen. How we doing?
Very good, sir. Mayor and councilmen, thank you for having us this evening on your agenda. We are currently in the process of building a habitat home on 250 North Hawkins on the corner of Atlas, which is south of Mark Twain School 1 block. We are here to request a waiver of the building permit fee for this project. We're taking a vacant lot, building a home which will be on your tax roll. This is Brad Kurz. He can give you any information on Habitat's history or any questions that you may have to ask on Habitat. I have a copy of the plans if any of you, or we can leave it with you to see.
Just real quickly, this will be the 12th Habitat house that we built in Hannibal. And just for folks to know, the way Habitat operates is we are completely volunteer. We have no paid staff at all. We collect donations, use volunteer labor to build the home. We sell it back to the homeowner at cost at a zero interest loan. We also provide financial counseling throughout the time of the repayment. And although Habitat nationally has about a 50% foreclosure rate, we're proud to say we have yet to foreclose, and hope we never have to foreclose on any of the homes in Hannibal. So all of those have been paid off. We still have some that are working on payments, but we never have had a foreclosure here in Hannibal. So to give you a ballpark, the last home that we built, which is just will be the neighbor to this home, it appraised for well over $100,000, and we anticipate this one to do the same.
Counselor, is there anything you can add to this?
Well, Mayor, always you have the concern that you don't want to violate the Missouri Constitution's prohibition against giving public money to private businesses. However, we have looked at this in the past, and it has been our opinion that there is case law that suggests that so long as it is something where it is for the public good and is in the nature of the type of thing that cities do anyway, that this is something that would be permissible. I believe we have waived these fees in the past based on that theory.
That's what I wanted to hear.
Okay.
That's that answers my question.
I thought that was probably your question.
Yes. Okay.
It's a great program, and I want to see you guys continue on doing this, so I'll make the motion that we waive the permit fee.
Motion by Welch to waive the building permit fee, seconded by Councilperson Cogdill. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Very much.
Thank you.
Thanks for your time, gentlemen.
Slow down just a little bit. Next item on the agenda is Melanie Nevels, the Executive Director of Two Rivers Industries, here to give us a 2020 annual update, operations update. How we doing?
I'm good. How are you all?
Pretty good.
In your all's board packet, you should have received the 2020 report. Is that correct? Okay. I was asked to come and answer any questions and kind of go over our restrictions. As I stated in the report, we've opened August 3rd, 2020, with restrictions because of COVID. Those press releases were sent out to KHQA, Hannibal Courier Post, Shelbina newspaper. I think there were several others. I didn't take a list of that. Sending them press releases doesn't always guarantee that they're posted. I know the news stations did cover that we were reopening. We've also covered it on our website, on Facebook. We have some changes with Google that we're having some technical difficulties with, but they're sending me a postcard so I can fix that. Again, I have yet to get that, but I'm trying to resolve the Google problem. Initially, when we first started, our hours were going to be 7:30 to 2. Those are the hours that we operate with our disabled individuals. However, there was a major problem with traffic when our disabled people were leaving. So we ended up changing the recycling time until 1:30. That way we had time to get our people in and out safely without the congestion in the parking lot. In your report, you got to see the restriction. I assume this same thing went out to media as well. The biggest problem is the hours. Unfortunately, leaving the facility open 24 hours like we've done in the past is going to make us to where we cannot comply with CDC and OSHA regulations to keep our people safe. We also have had a lot of complaints that we're not taking plastic. Unfortunately, it takes a lot of storage space to hold plastic for the designated kill time. We do not have that storage capacity, which means plastic blows. It's in neighbor's yard, which is a problem. So we have opted not to take that. For the sheltered workshop status, we do report to Department of Elementary and Secondary Education. March 29th, they sent us a memo on an update for restrictions. CDC and OSHA were either going to plan a revision for April 1st. They did not do that. Their next anticipated revision is June 30th. So we do not anticipate changes until then, if then. And that's going to depend on statistics and virus-related data. Any questions?
Are you still at 9, Melanie?
Huh?
Are you still at 9 employees then?
I didn't.
Are you still at 9 employees?
Yes. The 8th, we are anticipating getting one back, which is the 30-day mark from the injection, or their second injection. We're trying to meet other requirements. We clean on a regular basis. Some homes and guardians want us to clean and completely disinfect the building on an hourly basis, and that's not a very feasible request.
So you have collection bins out Monday through Friday from 7:30 to 1:30?
Yes. We do not have every single bin out at one time. We have, we rotate containers. For instance, cardboard, we have 2 containers so that individuals can come and fill them. Once they're filled, we tape them and date them and move them to the back and replace it with an empty one. Initially, we had 4, but then all 4 get partially filled, and that makes it a problem at that 24-hour mark for cardboard to dump everything. You're just holding it longer.
And you've been doing that since August the 3rd, Monday through Friday, from 7:30 to 1:30?
Yes. With the exception of snow days, with our winter weather, if Hannibal Public School cancels because of hazardous road conditions, we are closed as well.
Questions? No questions from the council?
I don't have any questions, Mayor. I reviewed the report that they filed. I think, my understanding, and correct me if I'm wrong, my understanding is what you're telling us is that a lot of the problems that citizens are concerned about have to do specifically with regulations that your workers you have to comply with to protect your workers because they are people who are a special class, correct?
Yes, at high risk to contracting COVID and potentially having a bad outcome.
I get that. Mayor, when we created this ordinance, we did give a preference to any business that would hire handicapped individuals. It is not required that it be the sheltered workshop or Two Rivers, but it is a preference that's specifically written into the ordinance, and it's specifically what the people voted on. And because the people voted that in, that's something we probably have to honor. Obviously, people are frustrated.
I'm frustrated too. I completely understand.
And I'm not wanting to beat you up. I hear about it because we prosecute people for issues with trash, et cetera, and part of their problem is that, well, I can't recycle, et cetera, and it's a common theme I hear. So I will tell you, people are frustrated, but having read your report, I do understand what you're saying.
I'm frustrated. I'd like it to be open. I'm a people pleaser. I try to please everybody, but I have to please the regulations.
We have to honor that first.
Yep.
So do you only hire handicapped individuals? I guess that's probably the wrong word. But.
Supervision, management type staff, they are non-disabled. For processing work.
Okay. So with the lack of employees not regulated, or that are regulated, is it not feasible to hire on more help in the hours that they cannot be there?
Financially, it's not very feasible.
Well, you're not paying those people when they're not there, right?
They are under the 14C certificate for the Department of Labor.
Okay.
And we are reimbursed some of their wages, up to $3.50 an hour.
Okay.
For the certified workers' labor. We would not be reimbursed, and minimum payment would be minimum wage.
To me, a business needs to operate at its maximum, that you can. I get a lot of phone calls, a lot of people
I've had so many.
asking,
I can't
why do we
tell
even
you.
pay this fee if they don't provide the service. And I'm not coming down on you. I know it's a
and I
typical
get it.
position to be on. But there are people right now that will refuse to pay that fee. It's just going to create a further backlog, and it's going to snowball into a bigger issue.
First and foremost, the Northeast Missouri Sheltered Workshop is a sheltered workshop. Our primary focus is to meet the needs of the disabled residents of Marion County, Hannibal. Many regulations, and I can't tell you what line item, whatever is in there. We have to maintain operations for those individuals. Even having volunteers come in, we get individuals do community service. They cannot do work that takes away from work for our disabled individuals. It's a violation of our sheltered workshop.
If those disabled individuals cannot do the work, then isn't their
If the disabled
workload?
individuals cannot do the work, that is one thing. But when you're taking away their job is recycling.
Sure.
If someone comes in and works minimum wage for 8 hours after they leave, if they are essentially taking all of the work away and first shift doesn't have enough to process, we would be in violation.
Okay, so Sheltered Workshop works under Two Rivers Industry?
I'm sorry?
Sheltered Workshop works under Two Rivers Industry?
No, Two Rivers Industries is a sheltered workshop.
Okay, so it's just the name of,
Yes, it's the name of the sheltered workshop.
okay.
We did a DBA change from Northeast Missouri Sheltered Workshop in 2015
Okay.
to Two Rivers.
So even though the regulations aren't allowing some of the people to be able to work, someone else cannot do that work?
As long as we do not take away from the work of the sheltered workshop employees. Yes, which is on days, Monday of last week, we collected 7 bins of cardboard. Completely great. We had a lot to process Wednesday. Some days we don't get 2 bins. We tear pages out of books. We find busy work to do that.
Right.
I can't hire a full staff and guarantee work for my disabled individuals, which are my priority.
I understand the position you're in, and I'm not trying to come down hard on you.
And I get it. I'm frustrated too. I hear the same thing. I have people coming in my office. I have people berating me in my office. I get it.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to put my individuals at risk just to please somebody that doesn't want to meet the regulations that anybody else has put out so far. And I hate to say it that way, but it's not just Hannibal. It's not just the sheltered workshop. It's the world right now. We have to make changes.
I can respect that. The issue we get to is, when you take a fee from the citizens of Hannibal to provide a service and the service is not provided, that's where we come in.
I get it.
That's where our phones are ringing and why am I paying this? What about your hours? Does those have to be 7 to, the hours, I will tell you personally, I came for 2 weeks straight every single day and never got to drop off my cardboard. So, the hours of 7:30 to 1:30, for the average working, family.
Those are inaccessible.
It might be a bit of the issue. It might be that just the hours are not feasible for somebody like myself or the mayor or one of us that work, normal business hours to be able to drop off our cardboard. Is there an option of maybe adding a Saturday drop off? Is there
that has
any way
been-
that you can think of to maybe adjust to, and I understand completely what you're saying. Now, it's a little hard for me because I'm at service to my constituents and to the citizens of Hannibal. And so my way of thinking is we, you know, while they may not understand all the regulations and things, what they understand is they're paying a fee for a service that they are not being provided. So is there some way maybe we can brainstorm and maybe to maybe be able to open up some additional hours or hours at a different time where, you know, the average citizens, families that are working that do like to recycle like myself, maybe will be able to drop off. I can't drop off from 7 to 1:30. I'm at work in those hours, you know, and so is my husband, and so it's just not feasible. So maybe, you know, and it doesn't have to be a long-term solution. It doesn't have to be something like that. But, you know, we all are kind of in a crisis here. Right. And the issue is maybe, you know, maybe we should have thought out whether the service was going to be available before we, you know, started the fee back up. But I would like to see maybe some sort of something to happen where the citizens could be able to use it, because I think a majority of the citizens do want to use it, and the frustration is because it's just, and I mean, this has been through Christmas. I've got people who's telling me I still got my Christmas cardboard. I still, you know, it's just been so long going. So I do completely understand, and like Kyle, I'm not trying to come down on you. I'm just trying to say on behalf of my constituents and the citizens of Hannibal, the frustration's a little more, I think, than what we're even saying to you. I'm hearing, and I know several of the other councilmen are hearing. So if there is some way, you know, to maybe open up some additional hours, especially like a Saturday or a weekend where it's feasible for people to be able to use the service. Does that make sense to you?
That has been looked into. There's some problems, obviously, but I can look into it further. I know that I have been contacted on numerous occasions. I've received phone calls. I'm not opposed to accommodating. I've been in at 6 o'clock in the morning to meet people. I have stayed after. I've come in the evening. I'm not opposed to that, but somebody's going to have to call me and ask me or talk to me, instead of just assuming that I don't want to accommodate anybody.
Yeah, no, I'm not assuming that at all. I'm just trying to think of a, you know, short-term solution to you know, help you so you're not getting those phone calls and we're not having the frustrated citizens.
I'm not opposed to, you know, making accommodations at different hours. I've met people there at 5 o'clock. I've met them at Saturday. I mean, I try to accommodate.
Yeah. Even if you could stay closed on a Monday and be open on the Saturday, and then, you know, there's your 24, I mean, you know, all 4 bins out on a Saturday, you know, just something.
We have thought about that. I have a lot of processing things, and it's not just 2 supervisors. I mean, myself and 2 supervisors, we can't take care of that, and getting our disabled staff to have housing and rides, and there's
well, I don't expect you to agree to anything right here. I'm just asking, right. Could you please maybe, you know, speak with your people and keep in contact with at least Lisa or somebody, and just kind of, we maybe need to open up a little more communication too, because between us and the Board of Public Works, I mean, we're all taking a pretty good beating too. And again, I answer to the constituents and the citizens of Hannibal. So I have to provide answers and try to come up with solutions. That's what they elect me for. So, but if it's something, maybe, you know, some brainstorming or something can be done. And like I said, I know it even just got to be short time until everything starts getting opened up, hopefully after, what'd you say, June 30th? You know, so I know we're all just doing what we can do right now. But again, this is a service that the citizens pay, and when it's not being provided, it's just not taken very well. And so if there's anything or at
I
least
wish
they
we
know
didn't
we're
have
working
to-
on it, addressing it, aware of it, that type of thing also helps, so.
As a
And
fo-
again, I don't want to upset
to
you or
provide
come down
answers.
on you either, I just,
As a follow-up, a lot of times my phone calls end with, "Oh, since this is a voter-initiated thing, maybe we just won't vote for it next time." And I really want to see this go because it's doing good for everyone in the community. But
You just have to have answers to be able to explain, this is where we're at, this is where we're looking to be, and for as
And-
much information that was put out about restrictions and guidelines, many people still didn't receive all that information, and that's where frustration will be.
And I went to Board of Public Works today, and I got asked, "Are you all open yet?" We've been open since August. Oh, I didn't know to tell the people that keep calling that. So, there's that.
Questions, or? All right. Melanie, thank you, and try to keep communication with city manager, myself, and you, and see if we can foster a little more public awareness too.
I will look into things.
Okay,
Thank
thank
you.
you. Next item on the agenda is our city attorney, James Lemon. Looks like you have several items here, so.
Let me get, I think I only thought I had one, Mayor, but
It
let
depends
me
on how
look.
many lines you're gonna read.
That's an excellent point.
Okay.
Mayor, the thing I knew I had was, we have taken yet another stab at amending the code in regard to animals. As I mentioned in my memo, I went back and looked. I told you I couldn't remember if it was the third or the fourth time. This is the fourth time we've tried to do it. I have laid out basically what we're trying to address. There have been multiple contributors to that, HPD, there's been some citizen input, there's also been some input from the animal control officers. I am prepared to answer any questions if anybody has any questions about it.
the last we had discussed, the HPD had some issues with the verbiage. I didn't hear what specifically or anything like that, and I don't need to know that. I just need to know, have we moved past HPD's
I
issues?
believe we got that addressed. There was a concern, there was an issue with, and we, to my knowledge, have never used it while I've been city attorney, but there is a provision that's in there, I'm betting from back in the 1800s, that if we find animals roaming at large, the police department can sell those animals at public auction.
Oh, okay.
And because of the way that's what it said, and what we did was when we updated it and we put it in there that the animal control officers would run that auction. There was some concern about whether they were set to do that or qualified. We changed it to show that or authorized designees, so that basically they can, if in the rare chance that something like that should happen, we didn't want to take it out completely, because you remember when the truck wrecked and the cows were all through
And the cowboys were all lassoing them?
and the cowboys lassoed them. In case we ever have something like that again where someone won't claim the cows and we had to auction them, we did leave that provision in, but the thought is we can do it with an authorized designee. In other words, we can hire an auctioneer and auction off the cows.
There you go.
I don't think it's ever going to be necessary, but that's the plan. So, did anyone else have any questions?
No, that's
All
kind
right.
of hilarious.
And
So.
it is up for first reading, and there's an ordinance to follow.
Councilman Bowen?
I have something. Have we talked with Miss Azate recently and told her this was going to be on the agenda tonight and things like that? Because I reached out to her and she didn't know that it was going to be.
I have no idea on that. I've never discussed the ordinances with Ms. Azate. That was something she worked with HPD on. And they provided me with what my understanding was what they had worked out with her, and that's going to be the provisions on outdoor keeping of the animals. There's some fairly major changes in tethering, and there was one other that she contributed, and it was my understanding that was all based on those conversations with her.
That was my understanding too, that her portion of what she was going to submit she had completed. It was my understanding too, Alan, before.
My follow-up is, has Ms. Azate essentially blessed this ordinance to be approved by us, since it kind of was her thing? I know we have to approve it, I'm just, as a courtesy.
I have never spoken to Ms. Azate about the ordinance, so not by me. I don't know if HPD has had further discussions with her or not.
Okay.
I'm not sure if anybody's talked about it.
No, and actually, I've seen what's been put on the docket tonight, and several things were left out, several things. I have a list of them.
And that's the case, and there's a lack of information. I think we know how to handle this when the bill comes up for reading. Because we can't table this bill until...
It'll be table number 4, but yes, you can.
Okay. I want to do it one time, be done.
Well,
even though this is 4 times.
And Mayor, right. with respect, here's the deal. The people who are best suited to figure out what should be in ordinances like this are the people that are going to have to enforce it, the people that are going to have to write the tickets, the people that have boots on the ground and are going to have to deal with it. It matters not a lick to me what's in that ordinance. I will prosecute whatever's there. However, I will suggest to you that HPD put a lot of time meeting with Ms. Azate, taking a look at her suggestions, and making decisions as to what should and should not be included in this ordinance. The ordinance that is presented has been fully vetted by HPD, and again, they're the ones that have to put this into effect. And I am certainly don't want to sound like I'm scolding you all, because I'm not, but we have some of the things that are in there really need to be done, and things that have needed to be done for several years. The things with the pot-bellied pigs, the fact that people have ferrets in town and we have no regulations regarding ferrets, the cleaning up of making it clear that we've switched to community service officers. There are things in there that really need to be done. What I'm hearing Ms. Azate say is that there are things she would also like in there. There is nothing that says you can't put other things in there. There's nothing that says you can't amend ordinances once they're in effect. If there are things that she wants to talk to HPD about and HPD wants to consider and let me know whether they think there are things that would be appropriate to go in, I think it would be appropriate to do it. But I urge you to go ahead and do the first reading, have her talk to HPD, and if in fact they agree that it needs to come in, we can do it, or we can do it later, because we change ordinances all the time. We change stuff all around all the time, and my frustration here is that I think there are some things that are in there that are trying to be responsive for things that she wants, and I understand there's everything she wants is not in there, but there are some things in there that I think are very good, like changing the rules regarding tethering and rules about how long you can keep the animals outside, et cetera, and as we're starting to move into hot weather, this has, and at no one's fault. Part of it is because it is a very complicated area, but at no one's specific fault, this has dragged on a very long time, and I really don't want to see us get into summertime and not have some of these things that I think are very good ordinances not go into effect. I would rather see a partial revision go into effect and have HPD readdress the issues with Ms. Azate and see if there's additional things they in fact want to put in there.
Second reading as amended.
And we could do a second reading as amended, exactly.
Mayor, could I speak?
We don't have, the floor isn't open. I don't do an open floor.
That I spent an ungodly amount of hours
So,
working on.
Mayor, if someone's speaking, I'm not able to hear who they are or get a name.
Right. April Azate is asked to be recognized on the floor to discuss this matter. I think we have, unless it's one of the councilman's pleasures, to vote to allow Ms. Azate to speak. I think the city councilor has told us pretty well how we can address this and move forward and get things moving here, and she can get her.
I think we've showed cooperation and willingness to work in the future and in the past, and I think we need to push this through the way it sits now. We can amend it and adjust it as you work with the HPD. But they have.
So this will be bill number 21-008 to follow. Mr. Naki, will you pass on to the chief and Lieutenant Grody to schedule or meet with Ms. Azate and see what other issues that are involved here and report those to the city attorneys so that we can follow up? Because
April, you have 2 weeks before this is approved, so if you have, hopefully they will get a hold of you because we can still amend and everything before it's approved, okay?
And you will have somebody get a hold of her.
And sign up.
All right. I've got
Wednesday
your word.
before.
Well, I didn't find out about this until this weekend. Nobody told me that it was on docket.
All right, next item on the agenda is Andy Dorian, Director of Central Services.
We have a long list here.
I thought you were just going to have one item.
I'm glad that Karen is going to help me out on the tail end here. So, first up, well, thank you, Mayor and Council. We have been working for quite some time on our playgrounds in town, and so Ann Dorsey Park was our next on the list for a playground. And so, pre-COVID, the Girl Scouts, and I'll bring them up here in 1 second, came to us about some ideas of adding some more playground equipment, and we're like, perfect, this is going to marry great with what we're doing. So they came to a park board meeting, made a really nice presentation, and we kind of promised them then, we will work with the girls and let them pick the new playground equipment. It's something that we're trying to do more of, work with 4-H groups and different groups to kind of see a project from the start to the very end. And so it's gone really well. So if the girls want to come up and show the playground design. So what we normally do, and we're going to ask for a bid waiver on this project, playgrounds are almost impossible to bid out apples to apples. Every playground company has their own proprietary equipment, so you can't just do that. So normally what you do is you give a set price amount to all the playground manufacturers, and then they make a presentation. And that's what we did. We solicited at least 20 different playgrounds from multiple different companies, and we gave them to the girls, and we let the girls have their own discussion and pick out what playground they wanted and the color. This is not the final color. Blue and gray is going to be, but this is a rendering of what they selected. So does any of you guys want to speak on how the process went?
We'll go in this way. We have us.
Okay. I'll turn the floor over to you.
We are the Girl Scout Hannibal Gear Gals. We just finished this year's robot competition last week. So last year, our problem was city streetlights. We had to find a solution to a problem that we knew of in our city. Our problem was the regular flooding of Columbus Park. We wanted a park above the ground. We presented it to the park board, and they showed us several places. One of the parks was Ann Dorsey Park. We later visited the park and found that it was near many schools and neighborhoods. We researched playground equipment, and we wanted it to be nature-themed to blend in. We came up with 5 locations with things that all ages can do. So the first was an observation bench made of recycled plastic. You were supposed to look up into the sky and see what jumping stones, and you could pretend that there was a stream underneath you and try not to fall in. Fifth, there was a hopscotch that was fun and healthy. This is what we wanted to include in our park.
And they don't know this yet, so what they picked out on the playground is this. The things that she just described are things we are going to work with them on as part of this process. So we are going to work with them. They don't know that yet, this is new for them, but we are going to work with them on the hopscotch, on the nature things, and design this together as part of this project.
Awesome.
We were looking for a playground that had natural colors so it didn't look too out of place. We wanted it to be wheelchair accessible and fun for all ages. We thought it would also be ideal to have many activities, including music area and plenty of space for kids to run around and stuff.
We chose this playground because it has plenty of space for running around and playing games. And we also liked how there were options of activities for kids of all ages. So the younger kids could slide down the slides and crawl through the tunnels, while the older kids could climb on the dome climber and the boulder climber. And the spinning seats were also a major factor in choosing this playground because they were one of our favorite things to do when we were little. And on top of all that, we mentioned in our skit last year that we wanted our park to be wheelchair accessible and safe for children with special needs. And we thought that the music area would also be a great choice. And in addition to that, we would also like to add a few frisbee golf balls and repair the basketball hoop for teenagers who are at the park watching their little siblings or babysitting. And for kids our age, it would be fun to have a floors lava course surrounding the playground.
Okay, so this is the plan that we came up with and what the girls came up with. The goal would be to approve it tonight, make the order. It would be full scope installing everything. So it would be about around a July installation. The final price is $68,250, and that includes installation. The Parks Department would come in and prep all the site. Manufacturer come in and install it. We bring in the base, and then we do some of the concrete work for the accessibility. And then some of the other things that they have brought up with are things that we can do in-house and work with them with our nature educator and different, so they can actually put their own stamp on this site. And so this will also have a brand new shelter that's already been ordered, and the basketball hoop is part of this project. So this is going to be really neat. We've heard from a lot of the neighbors. They are super excited about this project.
That's what I was going to say. Thank you for picking that location, that neighborhood. They're going to love that. They're just going to so love that.
And they also don't know this. You guys are going to have to help with some of the construction. So
That'll be
get out there and move some dirt. So
And
that's the goal, is for them to see it from the beginning to the very end. And then once we have the ribbon cutting, they'll be part of that presentation as well. So.
And by the way, your floor is lava. It's fun for all ages.
The spinning seats. Yeah.
We'll put the mayor on those. My 3-year-old and 10-month-old will be excited to play on that. My 3-year-old, she calls all the different parks by colors. Like you have the green one by the river, and you have the blue one with the ducks, which is Huckleberry and all that kind of stuff. So I'm excited to see the final colors, what she'll call this one. So, and I'll get to chase her around. It'll be great.
There's already a blue park, so maybe it'll be the gray park?
Sounds great.
Yeah, I took it home to my little ones, and they said the Girl Scouts did a good job. This looks fun.
My grandchildren are going to love it also. Thank you, guys.
So, Andy, you're asking for a bid waiver?
A bid waiver and then bid approval with Hutchinson Recreation Design. They're our Missouri company.
Okay.
So.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Veach, second by Bowen. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried. So you're going to
Next
get that
up-
ordered.
Yes.
Okay.
Next up, we have the actual structure of the Sedalis restroom. I think last council meeting, we approved the the foundation work and utilities. This is for the actual CXT restroom. Very similar to the one that's out of the riverfront. It's 100% concrete, built to flood. That is a flood area. And so George Lee Construction, they'll build the pad and utilities. This will come in 2 sections. It comes in, goes together. It even comes with the toilet paper already assembled. And I'm not joking about that. It does. It's already on the roll.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Okay, that'll be
that is $83,145.
Okay, resolution 2328-21 to follow. Next item.
Next is the airport business plan. We have been working on this for quite some time. Myself and Corey, we've had numerous meetings on the process. Basically, we're looking at a plan to develop the airport, but the areas around the airport, as well as the industrial park and some of the other things. And so this is a 90-10 grant, and so it has to come in 2 different resolutions. One is with the State Aviation Trust Fund for the consultant agreement with Aviation, and then the second is the agreement with the Missouri Highways and Transportation Commission Airport Aid Agreement for the funding. So $67,500 of this is funded by a state grant, and the remaining $7,500 is going to be paid for by the Board of Public Works. So that is 2 resolutions to follow. Okay. Next is the street vacation. Deborah and Randall Hurt on a property at 3200 Roosevelt Drive. There's a little bitty portion of, I guess you call it alleyway, streetway. They own everything around it. It went through planning and zoning. Everything was approved. Mark Ross has no concerns. So that is up for bill number 21007. So, next up, we have Cynthia Ditch, which is to purchase 1106 Fulton. She owns the lot at 1108 Fulton. She wants to do a minor sub and build a garage on this lot. This is one of the properties we picked up from Marion County trustee sale. So we recommend selling for $500.
Follow. Next item.
And then last up, Daryl Garner owns the property at 1906 Chestnut. That house burnt down.
Church or Chestnut?
Church. Okay. No, it's Chestnut.
I was wondering. I didn't think there was a
Yeah, no,
1900
it's
block
Chestnut.
of church.
Yeah, 1906 Chestnut. And so he wants to give it to the city. We do have the insurance. We've already actually tore it down. So it's just whether or not the city would like to take that on and take that as part of our property. So, but it is down. So
that's a resolution to follow. Anything else, Andy?
That's all I got. I'll let Karen do the rest.
Okay.
Man of many hats.
Yeah.
Ian.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Okay, next item on the agenda, obviously, is Karen Burdett, Director of Finance.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. First item is our 5-year plan. On March 18th, the Planning and Zoning Commission received and reviewed the proposed 5-year plan that covered from years 2022 to 2026. The Commission unanimously approved it and recommend that it's vote for the City Council and resolution to follow. Any questions? Okay, second item is we have a project for the extension of the Lakeside Drive at the Lakeside Business and Technology Park for future development and to provide access to for the Hannibal Board of Public Works substation. The estimated cost of this project is going to be $1 million. With the governor's cost share grant, they will provide $835,000, which is 84%. The cost to the city is $165,000. The project is in the Hannibal Board of Public Works 5-year plan. An ordinance to follow is for the mayor to execute an agreement with the Missouri Department of Transportation Commission. Any questions on that one?
So is the 135, is that BPW or is that?
165.
Or 165, sorry.
Yes.
That's BPW, okay. Gotcha. Thank you.
Okay, the third item is the budget schedule. So on May 4th, I'll be giving you all the preliminary budget for you to have, and we will set the budget hearing. So a lot to get done in the next few weeks to have that ready for you. So just asking that you approve this.
Okay, so we need to have a motion to approve the budget workshop for the CWC of May 19th, 5:30 p.m.
Yes.
And then can we also go ahead and set the public hearing for June 1st, 6:45 p.m. for the first reading?
You could. She had mentioned that she'll be coming back to council when she distributes on May 4th to request to set it, but you all could certainly approve setting the public hearing this evening, and that's one thing out of the way.
Let's take care of business now so people have the opportunity to know when things are happening. So I'm asking for a motion to set the budget workshop, CWC, at 5:30 p.m. on May 19th, and then also the public hearing at 6:45 p.m. on June 1st in the first reading.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any questions? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried. You can
Thank you.
step right on with that budget.
Okay.
No roadblocks.
Okay, thank you.
Next item on the agenda is Gail Bryant, Director of HCVB.
Mayor, City Council, I am here this evening to ask for a budget adjustment. Due to the 2020 pandemic, we reduced our staffing significantly in our fiscal 2021 year budget because of the restrictions put on travel. Now this year, the good news is we are already experiencing an increase in the visitors, and we're getting several group and convention inquiries, also sports tourism. So we expect that to continue throughout the rest of this year due to the number of vaccinations being administered. The staffing that we did not fill this last year was our full-time multimedia specialist and then a part-time visitor center associate. So we would like to request approval to add the 2 staffing positions, a part-time visitor center associate, and then 1 full-time sales manager to help the director and the assistant director as we move forward. We are just inundated with people coming back from Florida and the group sales and where we're moving that I think with our plan is to accelerate the recovery of the tourism industry, and so that is why we're asking for these positions, but we need them now. We can't wait till fiscal year 22. And so it will be added to this budget, but they will not be affected until a final approval and is adopted. But that's where we're at. And I'm happy to answer any questions, but it's time.
Your parking lot was full Saturday when I drove by, completely full, and I was downtown all day Saturday, and it was just craziness down there. Like,
it is.
It was, I don't know if anybody else was downtown this Saturday.
Good crazy.
But
However, why can't I get cell phone service there?
All
It's
right.
getting better. It's better. It's getting better. But no, we're having a lot of people coming from Florida, Minnesota, and Wisconsin today. It's great.
I just happened to drive by and look over, and I'm like, that parking lot's completely full.
So
that's a good thing.
Great,
thank you.
We have bill number 21-009 to follow.
Thank you.
Thank you, appreciate it. Okay, council, this time we have resolution number 2328-21. I need a motion to have the clerk read this resolution and call the roll for adoption.
Second.
Beach, motion. Bowen, second. All in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion's carried.
Resolution number 2328-21, a resolution of the City of Hannibal authorizing the mayor to execute a contract agreement between the city and CXT Inc. in the amount of $83,145 for the prefabricated concrete restroom for Sedalis Nature Preserve. Mayor Hark,
Yes.
Council members Bowen,
Yes.
Welch,
Yes.
Beach,
Yes.
McCoy,
Yes.
and Councilmember Cogdell.
Yes.
Okay, I declare Resolution 2328-21 duly approved and adopted on this day. We now have Resolution 2329-21. I need a motion to have the clerk read this resolution and call the roll for adoption.
So move.
Second.
Motion by McCoy, second by Veach. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried.
Resolution number 2329-21, a resolution of the City of Hannibal authorizing the mayor to execute a state aviation trust fund project consultant agreement in the amount of $75,000 between the city and JVation, a Woolpert company, for the development of the Hannibal Regional Airport business plan. Mayor Hark,
Yes.
Councilmembers Bowen,
Yes.
Welch,
Yes.
Beach,
Yes.
McCoy,
Yes.
and Councilmember Cogdell.
Yes.
I declare Resolution 2329-21 duly approved and adopted on this day. We now have Resolution number 2330-21. I need a motion to have the clerk read this resolution and call the roll for adoption.
So move.
Second.
Motion by Veach, second by Bowen. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried.
Resolution number 2330-21, a resolution of the City of Hannibal authorizing the mayor to execute a Missouri Highways and Transportation Commission Airport Aid Agreement in the amount of $67,500 between the city and the Missouri Highways Commission for funding for the development of the Hannibal Regional Airport Business Plan. Mayor Hark,
Yes.
Councilmembers Bowen,
Yes.
Welch,
Yes.
Veach,
Yes.
McCoy,
Yes.
and Councilmember Cogdell.
Yes.
I declare Resolution 2330-21 duly approved and adopted on this day. We now have Resolution 2331-21. I need a motion to have the clerk read this resolution and call the roll for adoption.
I'll move.
Second.
Motion by Veach, second by Bowen. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion's carried.
Resolution number 2331-21, a resolution of the City of Hannibal, Missouri, adopting and approving the 5-year capital improvement program for the years 2022 through 2026. Mayor Hark,
Yes.
Councilmembers Bowen,
Yes.
Welch,
Yes.
Beach,
Yes.
McCoy,
Yes.
and Councilmember Cogdell.
Yes.
Declare Resolution 2331-21 duly approved and adopted on this day. We now have Resolution 2332-21. I need a motion to have the clerk read this resolution and call the roll for adoption.
So move.
Second.
McCoy's first, second by Bowen. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried.
Resolution number 2332-21, a resolution of the City of Hannibal authorizing the mayor to execute a special warranty deed and agreement for transfer of real estate between the city and Cynthia Ditch for the sale of city-owned property known as 1106 Fulton Avenue in the amount of $500 plus cost. Mayor Hark,
Yes.
Councilmembers Bowen,
Yes.
Welch,
Yes.
Beach,
Yes.
McCoy,
Yes.
and Cogdell.
Yes.
Declare Resolution 2332-21 duly approved and adopted on this day. We now have before us Resolution 2333-21. I need a motion to have the clerk read this resolution and call the roll for adoption.
So move.
Second.
Motion by Veach, second by Bowen. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried.
Resolution number 2333-21, a resolution of the City of Hannibal authorizing the mayor to accept and execute a general warranty deed and settlement agreement and release for the acquisition of donated property known as 1906 Chestnut Street to the city from Darrell Garner. Mayor Hark,
Yes.
Councilmembers Bowen,
Yes.
Welch,
Yes.
Beach,
Yes.
McCoy,
Yes.
and Cogdell.
Yes.
Declare Resolution 2333-21 duly approved and adopted on this day. We now have Bill number 21-006. I need a motion to have the clerk give this bill a first reading.
So move.
Second.
Motion by McCoy, second by who?
I think it was Beach.
Okay. Trying to help you out there.
Thank you.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried.
Bill number 21-006, an ordinance of the City of Hannibal authorizing the mayor to execute a governor's transportation cost share agreement with the Missouri Highways and Transportation Commission in the amount of $835,000 relative to Lakeside Drive Extension Project. First reading.
Okay. We now have before us Bill number 21-007. I need a motion to have the clerk give this bill a first reading.
So move.
Second.
By Beach, second by McCoy. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried.
Bill number 21-007, an ordinance of the City of Hannibal vacating a portion of an undeveloped street lying in part of Shepherd Place, Extended, City of Hannibal, Marion County, Missouri. First reading.
Okay, now I need a motion to have the clerk read Bill number 21-008 for first reading.
I'll make the motion.
You got the motion. Welch, who's second? Motion is second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried.
Bill number 21-008, an ordinance amending Chapter 4, Animals, of the ordinances of the City of Hannibal, amending certain sections, including new sections, and amending certain definitions. First reading.
We now have another need a motion to have the clerk read Bill number 21-009 for first reading.
I don't.
Second.
Motion, second by Bowen. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried.
Bill number 21-009, an ordinance of the City of Hannibal amending the fiscal year 2020-2021 payroll, ordinance number 2, relative to an increased need for staffing at the Hannibal Convention and Visitors Bureau to support the demand in visitation, inquiries, and meeting planning, creating a full-time sales manager position and a part-time visitor center associate position. First reading.
Hey, council, at this time, ask for a motion to go into closed session in accordance with RSMO 610.021, paragraph 1 and 2, admitting myself, council, city attorney, city clerk by video. City manager is not available. I don't think even by video tonight.
She didn't make it in.
I didn't think. Andy Dorian and Economic Development Man of the Hour, Corey Mahaffey. Is there a motion?
So move. Second.
Motion by McCoy, second by Bowen. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Mayor Hark,
Yes.
Councilmembers Bowen,
Yes.
Welch,
Yes.
Beach,
Yes.
McCoy,
Yes.
and Cogdell.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much, everyone, for attending. We appreciate it. I just lost
If you will hit stop record on that when you get a moment.
Yes, there.